Just explain, because there will be people saying, oh, I hate homework. What's the point of homework?
So homework reinforces discipline. That's one of the most important things that it does to us. But it also allows you to bridge the gap between what you've been learning at school and then reinforcing what you've been doing at home. So it's a really important part of your everyday life whether you're 6 years old or whether you're 17 or 18.
Well, I'll just take, I mean, I don't know, I'll bring you in on this, but I don't think it reinforces discipline. It creates fractions within families. It creates a lot of stress for a start. And also, what was the second point you made? It
reinforces what you've been learning at school for that day.
Well, you see, that's what school's for. I think home is for home and school is for learning. But you're a former teacher.
I would have to agree. I'm also a former teacher. I actually taught for 10 years myself at a primary school. And I personally feel that the school days are so crammed full. We put so much pressure on our children to get all the learning into them that by the time they come home, they just need to chill out, just like we do when we come home from work. If you left the studio today and were given an hour's work to do and I'd like it in the morning, please, Eamon, you wouldn't want to do it. So why do we expect our children to have to do that?
Your boys, Nicola, are 7 and 5.
They are 7 and 5.
Do they get homework?
They do get homework. Both of them get homework. And I'm looking that they're quite compliant in doing it. And because I was a primary school teacher, I've got the subject knowledge to be able to help them. However, it does take up a lot of time. And I just feel that my job as a parent is to teach them to be a well-rounded, good human being and that they're independent by the time they're 18. And these homework skills, they're not what they need to be doing at home.
What do you think if... Because there are some schools that have stopped homework, but they've made the school day a little bit longer.
I think that's a good idea.
What about if you made the school day a bit longer?
Adding that on to the end of the day, and therefore they're not bringing that stress and tension home.
Now, I think you're just covering up the fact that actually the problem is not necessarily with the homework, it's with something else, maybe perhaps at home. So parents are perhaps afraid of having confrontation, and it's often not the role of the parent to be the one there to nag. And that when I go in to advise parents to coach them how to help their children...
You have to be the one to nag, Richard. You have to, because if they're not doing it, you know they're going to get into trouble, letters are coming home. So every evening I say to my son, have you got any homework? You know, when are you doing your homework? Have you done your homework? Now, I don't help him with his homework. I can't, basically, because he's 14 now. Maths. But so I don't help him, but I check, has he done it? Is he doing it? At the end of the week, we have to sign homework books. So, you know, you can't say, well, parents, you shouldn't be helping your children, because people do.
It's about finding the balance, isn't it, between being a nag and then also being supportive and encouraging and making sure that your son or daughter doesn't get a detention at school. There's got to be some clear expectations set between the parents and the kids. And I don't think just putting a sticky plaster over the problem of homework per se and saying, actually, it should be the role of the school to do it, because where do you draw the line with that?
Well, because I draw the line saying, because you're teachers,
I draw the line
and that's why I
about
send
5
my child
o'clock.
to school. I work all day, I come home, I don't want to be doing homework. A, I can't do it, not knowledgeable enough. And I think, well, why can't they do everything they need to do at school? And if you need to then see how they work alone, then have a half an hour during that school day where you say, right, you work alone and we check that. It's just about you seeing where they're at, and I understand that. But there'll be parents
Could
that
you
help.
please come with sorting this?
No, but there'll be people that will help and there'll be parents that won't help.
Right.
So
The challenge that we have today is that students are not taught how to learn, and that's really the main problem. 80% of what we're taught at school we forget within 2 days. That's because the majority of teachers that teach would teach in the old-fashioned way, with a pen or a chalk in front of the board. That's what we were brought up on, that's how you were taught at school. So the challenge today is teaching the students how to learn more effectively, not necessarily doing 2 or 3 hours of homework when they get home. So every student at every school that I go into work with, it's not about the number of hours, it's about completing the tasks that you're set. And if that can be done at school in the free periods, then great, because then it allows you to spend more time.
Because I just think that the tasks actually are the wrong type of tasks. I think as parents and carers and families, we can excel in teaching our children skills that they don't have time to teach them at school. For instance, how to tie your shoelaces, learn to ride your bike, learn to swim, plant a seed, learn to peel vegetables, age-appropriate activities that they do need these skills to go on into adult life, but there isn't time to teach them at school. And I think the academic side of stuff should be left at the school door, and these things should be taught at home instead. And you can still give them activities to do, and with the way technology is today, you could literally do the activity, take a photo, email it to the school, there's the proof that it was done, and everybody would be happy then, and you wouldn't have to worry about your subject knowledge because you can excel in teaching that. Or if it's sewing, maybe a grandparent or an auntie, or there's somebody that could help and teach that skill. And then I think that's the kind of things that they need to be doing at
feel
home.
inadequate, don't they? If they
They
can't do a
certainly do.
certain
I
subject.
like the way you think. I do like the practicality of the way you think as well. And I think also that we've got to have a long, hard look at what we're teaching children. Shakespeare, really? I mean, you know, I have A levels in English language and English literature and use of English. But, you know,
Definitely.
have I ever used Shakespeare in my life?
Unfortunately, what they're expecting them to learn now, the standards have just gone up so much, and it's all from the government, and it's all being forced down
We
onto
need to
the
teach them
teachers.
how to get a mortgage, how to deal with their
How to
finances,
budget.
how to have a pension. We need,
Yep.
surely we need a whole radical rethink of things. And homework is just punishment, but most of all, it's punishment for families and for parents.
Why not bring in somebody from outside the family unit then? So bring in a brother or sister or an aunt, an
You're
uncle or
kidding
family
me.
friend.
You're not serious.
And the child
What, you're
still
not
needs
serious.
time to relax and
Phone your
chill
cousin
out.
and say, help me with your homework.
Well, I mean, so kids nowadays have access to more material than ever
They
before.
do, but my children are in bed at 7 o'clock. By the time I've got them home from school and given them their dinner, it gives me an hour and a half maximum with them. I don't want to be sitting doing homework with them, and I don't think they need to be doing that at that time
Could you
either.
tell as a teacher if a parent had done homework?
Of course,
Yeah.
because I know the exact ability of all the children in my class, so I know with the work they normally
We've had
produce.